Quarter scale gravedigger part 22C, inside the truck. Well, I still have the truck in pieces. Still have to do some final welding on the chassis. Here's the axle. Checked out the gears inside and they look good. Of course, you haven't had a whole lot of time on them yet. Here's the mold for the front end. I don't want to talk about that. Oven, spare oven for powder coating. MIG welder. There's the front axle. The shocks, water tanks, gravedigger body, a couple of race trucks, charger, ping pong paddles, a couch, a list of things to do. Here we go. There's the new exhaust. Got it welded by Dan Bright. Thanks, Dan. I tell you, that is like perfect. He also glass beaded them for me, so that gives them a nice realistic look, I think. You don't see the scratches from the bending. So this is what was on there before. And it just threw the exhaust up and just splattered and made a mess all over the truck. So that'll be nice to have the exhaust going down like that. Can't wait to hear how it sounds with the new exhaust. 3 pieces welded in back here. So the throttle, this will be a mounting point for the throttle that goes to the carbs. Smaller oil tank. And I'm working on the final permanent engine mounts. So now I've got a square tube here instead of the round one. So I want to bolt a platform like this to that flat tube and then bolt the engine to that. That way, if I ever need to reposition it or move it around for whatever reason in the future, I can do that. And then the front of the engine will have a straight shaft going up from the tube, so that should look a little cleaner instead of having not like that on there. Should be more rigid. Checked out the belts in the transfer case and they look good, and I went back with the original lower pulley that does not have the one-way bearing in it. So with everybody suggesting, you don't need that, but we'll see what happens. So the throttle is going to be with an additional servo, like several people suggested. Be mounted to the transfer case, mounted here under the floor, and then there'll be a straight shaft going from the servo up to where the mount's going to be. So then this will be the pivot point, or the mount for the servo horn. And then here's the servo horn that will fit in between that. So when this is pulled down, it'll pull the shaft going to the throttles. Doesn't look like the same engine, does it? I've sent the engine back to the builder to get improved carburetors mounted on it, and he's going to test run it for me. I might even get the valves adjusted too, which will be a major plus to have that done by the expert. So, come along. To be continued.